I am 100% the chaos. And although I am not a planner, I will plan for chaos.
Oh my God.
Coming up.
Okay, so who's got a ghost story?
This is a no judgment zone, Carmen.
Must I shine the light underneath me?
Shine the light, the flashlight. We really need to pay attention to where we spend our emotional budgets. So I would like to take you through this again.
Reputation is so important, and I think that sometimes people forget that reputation can be destroyed just like that
Yeah.
because of that post,
Yeah.
because of that comment, because of that thing that you want to so desperately say and you want other people to hear, but you shouldn't be saying it in a public environment.
Very much to what everyone has said. You know, people just want to get with you to be in a picture, to be featured on your page, that kind of thing. So I've had to learn some very tough lessons along the way. And I think all the lessons we learn help us in our journey of life.
Okay, that happened. Sucked. That often there are these men who are sponsors, mentors, all of these things who are in the background, who are pioneers and who are important for the success of women.
Love it. Wear a shower cap.
No, but you don't have to stand underneath the shower.
Isn't that the point? What are you praying for? Before we dive into today's conversation, a heartfelt thank you to our sponsors who make this podcast possible. Your support helps us share powerful stories, spark important dialogue, and amplify voices that matter. We're proud to partner with brands that believe in our mission and invest in meaningful conversations. Welcome to my slumber party, everyone. Do you remember when we were children and we used to have midnight parties? Well, we are going to have a midlife party. Remember how magical slumber parties used to be? The secrets, the giggles, the whispers, and the thrill of belonging. I used to call it the midnight party. So I thought, why not reinvent the midlife party as a pyjama party? Anyway, I'm Carmen Murray, founder of Conscious Leaders, and this is the Conscious Leaders Pyjama Party. We're grown women. We let their hair down, kick off the perfection, and talk about the real things we only say when the world isn't watching. Tonight, we are going to laugh, confess, and maybe confront a few truths about friendships, boundaries, emotional budgets, and who actually deserves a place in our lives. So, slip into your PJs, grab yourself a drink or a hot cocoa, and get comfortable because this is sisterhood. Before we dive in, hit subscribe to the Conscious Leaders podcast if you haven't already done so. When you subscribe, like, and comment, it helps more people to find the movement. We're building conscious leaders, the kind the world desperately needs right now. So leaders who don't just talk transformation, but become it. So here we awaken the greatness within ourselves and each other. We lead audaciously inside out from boardroom to living room, and we're not afraid to have the real conversations. So subscribe, share this episode, and help this community to be a lighthouse and support the conscious leadership journey. Welcome, ladies.
Hello, Carmen.
I'm super excited about today, but I thought before we actually we get into this whole deep night discussion, we should actually have a bit of icebreakers. But now, because midlife is catching up on me, I have to put my glasses on so I can actually see what I'm talking about. Do you know that glare that this is like a whole new thing, right? It's this glare and the double chin. No, I never knew what people meant until now. And yeah, let's do a cheers, man. Let's do a cheers.
Wine. Yeah.
All right, cheers, cheers, cheers. Woo! That's the way we party. Welcome to our midnight party. Anyway, that was unplanned, but I loved it. That was done well. Okay. All right. So before we even get started, no titles allowed. Today, no titles allowed. Okay. So I did say I'm Carmen, the founder of Conscious Leaders. Sorry, but I didn't give you my real title. Okay. Bridget, over to you. Who are you when you're not working?
I'm that other person.
That other person.
That has enjoys life, that lives to the full, likes excitement. I like doing things that bring me pleasure. I also like doing things for other people that bring them pleasure.
That's why you're here. You know, when I told her yesterday, I said to her, listen, our other guest cancelled, will she mind coming? She laughed like 10 minutes. She couldn't stop laughing. She said, what? I have to wear pajamas? Yeah, that was very funny. Ko.
For For me, I am a philanthropist. I love giving back. I love impacting. So, I make the time to actually involve myself in campaigns that can impact society, and also could impact social justice initiatives, which is something that I'm really, really passionate about.
Love it. Love it. And we know it. We see it.
So, I'm Sane. I'm a girl's girl, originally from Durban. I know I've been here for a long time, but it must be known that I'm a Durbanite originally. I'm a mom. I'm a friend. I love uplifting and helping women. I love being in the space where I am being authentic, using my capabilities to help develop and uplift others.
Love it. Okay.
There's
So
a common thread.
there is a common thread. Yeah, you see, we're all meant to be here. Okay, so before we get started, this is not LinkedIn, right? So I don't have to overthink your ideas and what you're
Ready.
going to say.
Wonderful.
No, okay. I'm going to start and then you have to answer. But I think let's just go down the road to make it easier. On your marks, get set, go. Night owl or sunrise queen?
All through the day.
Oh, wow. That's not the options, but okay.
The first I've heard of that.
Night owl, insomniac.
Okay.
Night owls must sleep in the morning, up all night.
Okay. If your thoughts had a curfew, what time would they shut up?
2:15 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Probably never. Yeah.
Something?
Sleep 7 p.m., wake up 11 p.m., up until 2 a.m., rinse, repeat.
Let's repeat. I love that. Okay. Open person you can message at 2 o'clock in the morning. Who is that person in your life?
Myself. But I'm going to take your number.
I've heard of talking to yourself. I haven't heard of messaging yourself. I mean,
No judgment.
I do. To remember what I'm thinking at 2 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning.
love
very good
it.
idea.
Yes. Listen, midlife.
For me, it is my twin sisters. Yeah, they are with me.
Oh, beautiful.
They've just been an incredible force of support for me.
oh, that's beautiful.
I love that.
And when we're all together, we look very similar. So
Oh, that's
it gives you a
incredible.
triplet vibe.
Ah, I love it. Who came out first? Don't say it.
Medically, they both came out at the same time.
If it's 2 a.m., there's two people I'm speaking to, and that's Nomza and Patiswa, my friends. We're always chatting at 2 a.m.
Oh, my word. Okay, you clearly haven't reached the midlife I'm in. Oh, my gosh. Okay. What keeps you awake more, love, money, or notifications?
None of the above.
What's the sleeping tablets you're using?
For me, it's a soulmate connection.
A soulmate connection. Ooh, tell us
Yeah.
more. This is good. Tell
This
us.
is good. I am a very spiritual person,
Yeah.
and I believe that we meet people along this journey, and it isn't random. Even all of us sitting right here, right now, it's not random. And yeah, for me, I want to say I met my soulmate a few years ago, and it's been quite a challenging experience emotionally,
Yeah.
but it's something that does keep me up awake at night. It's something that I sometimes overthink. And yeah, I guess not everyone can be with their soulmate at the time that they need to. So there's also an element of universal timing and people being ready to connect with you as well.
That's so deep, and I didn't even know that. You're so private. And having such a public life.
I'm a private public
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like we could unpack that whole
I mean,
thing.
like that. That is deep. Yo.
Oh, I hope it's love keeping me awake, but sometimes it's money.
Yeah, listen, for me, that's definitely money. Money is my wake up. Yeah. Okay. One habit you know you should break.
These are very difficult questions to answer, you know. I think social media. I think access to social media takes away from valuable time that I could be using to do more beneficial things, whether it's learning, whether it's reading, whether it's quiet time, whether it's meditating. I think social media just absorbs us and takes and steals time.
I so agree with you. I mean, like, the other day I got a notification because my work requires of me to always do. I didn't like the report. It came back 22 hours
What?
in a week. Yeah, 'cause my
Sure.
work. And there's a part of me that sometimes I don't really want to go that deep sometimes, you know? So, yeah, well said. Okay.
It is doom scrolling, right? So doom scrolling on social media is where you just scroll because you're bored or, you know, you just want to take your mind off things. But I've become a lot more conscious of it. So I try and limit it. I think social media is addictive, right? We all can't get away from that. It's actually been proven that psychologically it's meant for you to keep coming back. But I've just been a lot more aware around who I follow and how it makes me feel after I see their content. Because content is meant to inspire and empower. And if you don't feel like that after looking at certain posts, then that is on you to make sure that you make those conscious decisions to remove that from your energy and your energy field.
And how do you remove that, like on your feeds? Do you train your algorithm?
I actually just, you know, if something is popping up too much or it's just... you know, someone, what could I say, just being a little bit too open about how amazing their life is. We all know that life is a mixture of good, bad, and ugly. And sometimes it is a little triggering when you just see, you know, because social media is your highlight reel. So all you're seeing is people living their best life. And sometimes you're not in the space where you're living your best life. It's a roller coaster of life. You're going through something. You open up a post, it could trigger you. And for me, that's just about, you know, removing that from my feed for a while. And just curating my feed. And I think that's what I love about social media is that we have the power to curate what it is we want to see.
And I think that is important.
I think
to curate what you want to see.
Yeah, very much. Sure. And, you know, I just wanted to touch on that because I was listening to a podcast early in the morning when I couldn't sleep.
Listen to sleep music, Carmen.
Sleep music, clearly. I need to go, what is that woman that does the sleep ministry or whatever? And this woman was talking, we as human beings are addictive beings. We're addicted to everything, whether it's attention, whether it is food, whether it is alcohol. There's so many things, and that is the journey of learning to unaddict yourself. And that spoke to me quite loud. So it's very valid.
Yeah, I think if you ask that question to people around me, they would say exactly that. I get a lot of feedback that I'm on my phone when I'm around people, and I wasn't even going to say that. So the fact that you guys said that, also self-awareness on my part. But then sugar is my, guys, it's my vice in life. I cannot.
Have you ever eaten a sugar cane?
Of course.
Oh my word, that is something we used to have in Durban.
That's a Durban thing, yes.
Yes. I think it's in Brent Hewlett's is within us.
That's like a typical Blue Lagoon thing. You go there to hold that big stick and crunch on it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was how my gran used to give me sugar intake. My sugar cane. Anyway, sorry, it's a thing. It's a Durban thing.
It's a Durban thing.
Okay, so which friend are you, the planner, the therapist, or the chaos?
The planner and the therapist, maybe.
I can see that.
Not the chaos.
No, you're a very structured person. I don't think you do chaos. I don't think you tolerate it.
I don't do chaos, but I do like fun. So if there's a little bit of fun in the chaos, maybe I'll be there. But I'll always go back to the planned, the structured, and sometimes I do overthink.
Yeah.
But the planned, therapeutic, advisor, calmer. I'm there.
Feeling the vibes.
Oh my word.
I think for me it's definitely the therapist, but there are times where you've got to pick your battles in life, in work, in society, and then you've got to, unfortunately, sometimes stand up for yourself and enter the chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Especially
just
in these times.
But just be careful about what type of chaos you're entering, and
don't post it.
I like taking people on the journey.
Yeah, you're very good
Especially
at
the
that.
challenging things that I know women of South Africa are facing. I feel like those are things that we need to take people along.
Absolutely.
We need to destigmatize some of the things that are happening in the world that are just being swept under the carpet.
Yeah. And get loud about it.
That's
you know.
That's it.
Absolutely. And not be afraid. Like I think many of us, I was at a, sorry, every time when we get to you, I've got something to say. I'm sorry. But I was at an event the other day with UCT GBS. Jay Naidu, he was part of the Fathers of Our Democracy.
Yeah.
And
saw the photos.
Everything he said has so spoken to me, and he was and I finished off going outside, and I spoke to this one lady, and I said, "Chill, don't you feel like something is awakening in your soul?" And she says, "I loved everything I heard, but I can't be that. I I have to preserve my income. I have to be so careful of what I say out there. And it's such a, it takes courage to speak your mind in these times. Audacious. Because not everybody can do it.
Reputation is so important, and I think that sometimes people forget that reputation can be destroyed just like that.
Yeah.
Because of that post.
Yeah.
Because of that comment. Because of that thing that you want to so desperately say and you want other people to hear, but you shouldn't be saying it in a public environment.
And especially political things.
But
This
anything.
is,
It's not even about politics only.
Yeah, no, totally. There's so many, even I mean, even what you say here matters. Just saying. Okay, so tell me, are you the chaos? Are you the...
To the external world, to just general friends and acquaintances, generally the therapist, to the listener, all of those good things. To my close-knit circle of friends,
You're the chaos.
I am 100% the chaos. And although I am not a planner, I will plan for chaos.
Oh my God.
And
Cheers to this. This
Yeah.
is
cheers. And in the chaos is a good time for us to have a therapy session.
Do you cry in your therapy sessions?
Necessary. It's a must.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let it out. Let it out.
Yes. Do you know how beautiful it feels after a proper cry? How nice your body feels.
Yeah, that releasing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I was giving you chaos energy.
I could feel it.
And what do you think I am?
Chaos. I didn't even have to think about it.
You didn't even look up at her. It just came.
I love bringing chaos because after chaos comes structure. Carl Jung said that the automatic thing that will happen from chaos is people seeing our pajama party. I'm just waving. It was so funny. Like Carl Jung said that out of chaos comes structure, and that's how the universe works. So I'm a perceiver from a Jungian type. So I bring the chaos. I'm that person. Sorry, you're my client.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry.
It is needed sometimes.
Okay, so who's got a ghost story?
Not me.
Okay.
You.
I will do maybe not a ghost story, but some type of story that's quite odd.
Must I shine the light underneath it?
Shine the light, the flashlight. So do you remember with the midnight parties or with the slumber parties, everybody used to have a ghost story, or somebody had to have like a gossip story or something?
Or a scary story.
A scary story. Who's got a scary story then?
Go for the ghost story.
Okay. So I worked on the ships many, many years ago. And it was my birthday, and every time it was my birthday, I had to call my mom because she couldn't call me on the ship because the numbers kept on circulating and changing. And I said to my mom the week before, when we get to port, I will then pick up the phone, I will give her a call. And she stayed up because America's timelines are very different to ours. And I call her, and it's in the middle of the night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And my mom and I'm talking away, and all of a sudden she just goes quiet. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? There's a very big man in the house. I said, what are you talking about? Are you awake? Are you still sleeping? And she's like, there is literally a man, like a long, tall man that just literally walked through the bedroom. He looked at me and he left. And I was like, oh my word. And then a week later found out that it was the neighbor that passed away.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Coming past to say goodbye.
Coming past to say
Oh
goodbye. I'm
my
like, oh my word. So I was never comfortable in the house after that. I wasn't there, but that's it. Look at your faces.
I'm weak, guys. I can't do horrors. I don't do thrillers. I do rom-coms. I don't do anything scary.
No.
Life is scary enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So to the audience, we are going to move into our pillow talk. So we're going to unpack girl code, and we're going to decode a little bit of our everyday experiences as women and bring about some wisdom that maybe you can comment and share your experiences that we can learn from each other. I think it's talking about emotional budget. So before we do that, I am going to do a little illustration. Now, don't laugh at me. So, daar val die glase. That's why they have to go on here. So,
That's how you know someone's a pro. When the glasses are on top of their head.
listen, I was speaking at a keynote the other day and I had the glasses like, oh my gosh, that looks terrible. There must be a better way of doing this. I'll learn. Anyway, okay. So in marketing, especially we work with sentiment analysis, right? So typically, if you're really good at marketing, you focus on the positive people, the people that are positive about your brand. They really love you. They will go out of their way for you. What you try and avoid is these ones, is the negative ones. Those that have already made up their mind, they hate you. They don't want anything to do with you. There's no conversion that's going to happen here. Don't waste your money here. But where the huge growth and opportunity exists is here, is the people that are undecided and don't know, trying to figure you out. Now, I like to explain this as in our lives and as women, I feel like we are a lot more emotional, and I don't see any shame in that. I love it. I think it's a beautiful part of us, and it's the nurturing part of us. However, we really need to pay attention to where we spend our emotional budgets. So I would like to take you through this again. So these people, the positive people, are the people, when you achieve things in your career, they cheer you on. When you're excited, they're like excited for you. When they see you've achieved something, they're there to celebrate you. When they see you having a hard time, they also know that something's off, and they pay attention to that. But then you get to this side. And these are the people that are potentially there for the wrong reasons. They are there to take. These people, the positive people, are usually the ones that reciprocate. But these are the takers. They don't make an effort to get to know you. And they are not curious about you, but they also very much, when they move behind closed doors, or you don't achieve the things that they want, listen, just think in turn. When you don't achieve the things, or you don't hold a certain status anymore, they disappear.
This is true.
I mean, I experienced that when I started my business.
Very true.
Hey? The moment you are not in that certain title, that certain thing, they disappear. We're going to talk about this. And then...
How long have I got?
But this is such an important conversation, because I feel like sometimes, you know, we have to talk about these things. If we want to come and unite together as women, we also need to be accountable and responsible and talk about these things. Anyway, and then you've got these people that don't know you, that you meet at networks, curious about you, don't mind connecting to you, are open to you. And this is sometimes where your biggest growth happens, the biggest opportunities
100%.
happen, and being open to this. But what happens is we forget that this is a positive asset. So this has compound interest. This is so bad for us because it depreciates our confidence. It gives us stress and anxiety. It removes our authenticity. We end up becoming who we are not, and then we attract more of them because we're not who we are. And it just has this cycle of negative things that happens to us. And at the end of the day is your self-worth is being compromised. And what happens is you shrink. I mean, like, I have so many stories to tell you about this part. But anyway, and this for me is just being open to that and spending our emotional budgets on the positive people and the people that are really curious and open to get to know us is far more important. And I think from my perspective, I have a theory. I have my inner circle, very few inner circle. Then I have the expansion of my inner circle, and then I have the people in our community, etc. But not everybody gets to know my intimate life, my intimate secrets. You know, there's levels of trust and confidence and a journey that has to be walked. And I've had to learn that lesson because I just made myself available to everybody the same way, and that's where I got hurt the most. So I thought we could dive into that. So we're going to start off with the first video. Please don't go away. You really have to watch it because we're going to unpack it now.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but some people in your life don't actually like you. They just like having access to you. And the wild part is they stay close enough to see everything, but never close enough to support anything. Some of your biggest haters aren't strangers on the internet. They're the ones who sit at your table and smile in your face and get quieter every time something goes right for you. Pay attention to the people who only show up when they think you're struggling. They don't want updates. They want reassurance that you haven't outgrown the role that they put you in. There are people who feel safer when your life stays predictable, when your confidence stays low, and when your world stays small, because it keeps them comfortable. But the moment you start growing, setting boundaries, or simply choosing peace, suddenly you become different, distant, or hard to deal with. No, hun, you didn't change. You just stopped making yourself smaller to keep the wrong people calm. Secret haters don't celebrate your progress. They monitor it. They take mental notes. They look for cracks. They'll call it concern. But what it really means is, I liked you better when you didn't realize your worth. And here's the part nobody tells you. You don't need a confrontation. You don't need an argument. You don't need to announce anything. Just stop giving people front row seats to a life they never clapped for. A real friend doesn't get quiet when you win. A real friend isn't irritated by your joy. A real friend doesn't feel threatened by your peace. So if someone's behavior feels off lately, if the energy has shifted, if the support went silent, if the room got colder when you got better, trust that. Not everyone who exits your life is a loss. Sometimes people fade out because you finally stopped shrinking to make them comfortable. Protect your peace like it actually matters, because it does.
So that video makes you think, right? The truth bomb there is that sometimes unintentionally we are auditioning for the people that are actually not on our side at all. So I thought we could go around the room and perhaps just discuss this conversation that this lady had. Like, how do you feel about your circle, and have you experienced that before?
So, I also think that there are people in your lives that are seasonal. They're in your lives for what is good for them and could be good for you. And so I think that seasonal aspect also contributes to the negative people, if you like. So they're there to get what they can. They want to ride on your success. They want to ride on your position. They want to ride on what they can get out of you. And sometimes they can be converted into the positives, but sooner rather than later, they will fall away because of your attitude towards them and because of their no need for you anymore attitude. So I think seasonal it does happen in our lives. We do have seasonal people. When I moved away from being very involved in the industry, running awards, being a judge, being a person that could potentially get them further in their lives, I was very important. But now that I'm not that person anymore, I am not that close to, I need to know Bridget more person. It's a seasonal thing too.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't want to celebrate my success, well, you know what, I move on, I don't really care. I will celebrate the success with those positive people or the people in the I want to get to know you better people.
Yeah.
So it's how you approach those people. It's how you also bring people into your life or discard those people because they no longer serve a purpose. It sounds very cold and callous, but there are people that I don't want to bring them along in my life. I don't want people that are going to bring me down. I don't want to be caught up in a trap. But remember, there's also the therapeutic part of me or the therapist part in me that if I can help encourage them to set them on their way without involving me, I'm happy.
That makes a lot of sense. But can I ask a question? Is this the point in time where you say, let's be transparent and be real what this relationship is? This is a transactional relationship that we're all on the same page. But I think when it starts coming across as if it's a close relationship and you start opening up a lot about yourself and it becomes a little bit up close and personal, the transactional part hurts later. I don't know if there is maybe a way to say, okay, let's define this for what it is. Like, I've met quite a few phenomenal women and I know exactly where this is transactional relationship and I'm okay with that. And I was even told, this is a transactional relationship and I respect that more. than feeling like I'm leaning into something that's not real.
How do you do that? Because I don't think I would have it in me to do that. Like,
I'm
I
only
think
in it for today. Tomorrow is not around. I can't do that either.
But it's actually the truth.
But how do you say it?
I don't know.
How do you like create that clarity that like I'm enjoying this, but let's be clear about what this is.
Yeah.
That's a bit tough.
And I hope our paths cross at some stage.
Using the good English.
Let's meet for a coffee. Yeah.
I'll chat GPT it later and see what it says.
I don't know, like from my perspective is, I was with a phenomenal woman the other day, and I was sitting there and I was like, yo, this woman's connected. Like, she's incredibly connected. And I was like, I'm not going to try and get close, because I also have to take conscious leadership as to what is my intent with this relationship. Am I just going to get close because she's influential? No. Because I wanted to make sure that my intent is also right, because that goes wrong when your intent is not right. And I think I was sitting there and I was observing, and I took all of the wild glitter out of it, and I was just like, hang on, let's be honest about this relationship. And I said to her, listen, I think that what you are doing is incredible. There to support you in any way or form that I can, without going into opening up myself too much about my personal life. And having those guardrails, I think that's becoming important for me, is putting up those guardrails to say, okay, this is, I don't need to go that far. I don't need to invest that much. I think that's important.
I think it also is like the network versus the friends. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think sometimes we unintentionally cross those boundaries, and it's absolutely great that we could be in a network and we don't have to be besties, right? Like, and that's absolutely fine. I think I've learned that with age, because I used to be like, I remember throwing parties where I'd rent out the whole club. I mean, did I know everybody at my party? Not that well. Gotta do it once.
The chaos.
Plan chaos.
But now it's a very different thing if I'm having a party for the people who are close to me. It doesn't mean that I don't have a big circle, but it's who am I really letting into my space, my heart, and who can I trust? And then the thing that really resonated that you spoke about, I often get people who contact me for help. And I think to myself, you haven't spoken to me in months. I don't know anything about your life. Like, you have not spoken to me at all. And you have messaged me with an ask. And the helper Sane thinks 3 times about it. Maybe they would have messaged me. But then the rational Sane says, hold on. This person has not engaged you in any way, only to come and ask for something.
Yeah. And that comes back to that negative thing. Is it reciprocation? I once asked a person for a pitch to do a testimonial, given this person quite a lot, invested a lot, refused to do it because for me to advance, ghosted me. Yeah. And those are the kind of things, is like, you don't want to keep the score, but you want to kind of like also just, I don't know, keeping score is terrible, but you kind of want to also just make sure that, sometimes people are going through a tremendous crisis in their lives and other people are not. But just to make sure that everything feels in flow and your intuition is guiding you, that it's not a people-pleasing thing. I think people-pleasing, I'm becoming very conscious about people-pleasing. I have to tell you before we even hear from you, you're going to laugh about this. Because I always see you like a fairy, like a unicorn, like you're just... Anyway, I was such a people-pleaser that one year I tried to get close to, and I really wanted the approval of the church that I was in and so forth, and we were going out and all of that. In the middle of the night, at 11 o'clock at night, it was the day before Spring Day, I blew up balloons, wrote handwritten notes, chocolates, everything, and I went to go and deliver it on their gates at all their homes at 12 o'clock midnight, so that when they woke up for spring morning, they could have these balloons and flowers and special handwritten notes and just like this whole thing, right? If the universe didn't speak to me then, I got almost hijacked when I came back because somebody threw a ball bearing through the window and crashed, and I was so angry. Anyway, long story short. And that moment still in my head, I still remember, because for me it's like, to what level will you go to get people's approval?
Sure.
And I was 20, I would say 22. Sure. And that I think that ball bearing that went through the window shield was maybe my reminder of always to remind myself. But I'm very bad. I get into that mode very quickly and easily.
I hope that ball bearing was a reflection of not doing that again, and not
never did.
and not. I'm glad I finished before this happened.
She's like, oh my gosh. So, how you experience this?
I think, being on social media and being a public figure with a huge significant reach on Instagram and LinkedIn has left me to just reflect and be a lot more discerning. Very much to what everyone has said. People just want to get with you to be in a picture, to be featured on your page, that kind of thing. So I've had to learn some very tough lessons along the way. And I think all the lessons we learn help us in our journey of life. It just, shapes things. And I think many people know that last year was a very difficult year for me. I was job hunting. It took a really long time. And, I noted that people had distanced themselves away from me.
Sure.
And that was quite another eye-opener to say, wow, so you only see me as a friend, when I've got this big title and this big status and. So I think it just, taught me to just be a lot more discerning around the energy that I choose to keep around me. And if your circle is small, that's good. Like, it's a really great thing to have 5 people that know that you can confide in.
Yeah.
And the rest of the people could be your audience or your community. And I think it's very healthy to set those boundaries and just be aware of the fact that not everyone has the best intentions for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very valid point. You're good at talking about setting your boundaries. I think that is important in not only from a business point of view, but I think also just in our own environment. There's a boundary in the diagram that you presented there. I mean, there's a boundary. It's an actual physical line.
Yeah.
And we need to set those boundaries. I think it's a very, very valid point.
Yeah.
I think on the part where you spoke about the positive, though, sometimes you have cheerleaders that aren't very close to you, but they show up when you need them as well. I think that's a real reflection as well.
And I think it's important to know that everybody doesn't have to be permanently in your life. I mean, everybody's going through seasons. And when you're going through, I've come out of a journey that's my creative illness, my midlife crisis, whatever you want to call it. I've gone through a major transformation in my life the past 5 years. And there was a time where I had to hermit. There was nobody that in this world that could make me feel better about myself and help me to get through this. I had to work through it on my own. And it's knowing that when you come on the other side is who's still there. And I think that for me was part of the beauty of recognizing the importance of investing in those positive relationships, because I think we're auditioning so much to try and we see the challenge in the negative relationships. Let me just build this relationship. I can fix you. You will like me at the end of this. You'll see I'm not that bad. And when people have made up their minds, they've made up their minds. And it's rather than auditioning and trying to take them on as a challenge, invest in the positive and let that flourish. I don't know. That's maybe where I'm at in my life. I sound like a granny now, huh?
Everything I say now is when I was younger.
I
agree on that, on watering the positive parts, 100%.
Okay, so we're going to play our second video, and then we would like you to stay very short, and then we are going to talk about that.
Have you ever noticed how huge the windshield is and the rear view mirror is tiny? There's a reason for that, because where you're going is so much bigger than where you've been. The past? It's meant to be glanced at, not lived in. A check-in, not a destination. You don't drive forward staring at the mirror. You'd crash. But people do that with their life every day. Still replaying what went wrong, still stuck on who left, still carrying the version of themselves that couldn't, when now they can. Your future doesn't need your guilt. It needs your attention. It needs your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, because the path ahead, that's where your power is. That's where you shift the gears. That's where everything changes. So stop shrinking into your past like it owns you. Look up, look forward, and drive like you've got somewhere to be.
Welcome back. Ladies, what did you think of that video?
I think it has their merits in what she has to say. I always say that you need to have that rearview mirror. It's small, but you need to check on who's behind you, who's trying to stab you in the back, who your supporters are, where those negatives and positives are. You need to be able to look back too, because that's also part of our starting point in life. We learn from what has happened yesterday. So, but we need to focus our energy on looking forward. It's our future. Our future is looking forward. So, the back is important, but that's why the windscreen of a car is much bigger, as she says, so that you can actually see the bigger picture in front of you. So I love the analogy of the small and the big, and that's the past. It is also who's behind you, who might be stabbing you in the back, but this is your future focus.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Yeah, look behind you.
I love the analogy because it takes it's the both parts that have to come together to shape our life. And sometimes the lessons we learn, we can only learn when we look back at an experience. At the time, you make a decision with the best information you have at hand, and I guess that's why they call it hindsight, because that's where the insight comes from. Around, I could have done this, or I couldn't have done that, or maybe I'll do better next time. And I think that's really important to just evaluate what has happened to you and, where are you going in future.
It's the lessons learned.
That's it. And I don't believe that any lesson comes into our life randomly.
But the interesting thing also that I've learned, numerology changed my view of the world so much. But one of it is that we are pattern seeking, and everything that we do have patterns, and you have to learn the lesson to prevent it from happening again. And if you don't, that lesson that you haven't learned becomes louder and louder and louder. And so, you see, I'm trying my best in my world to nip it in the butt before. I don't want loud in my life. No, I love chaos, but not that kind of chaos. Not again. Thank you very much. But I mean, this is the thing. And if we look at society right now, history repeats itself. It's because we as a society haven't learned that interconnectedness and that understanding of working and respecting humanity, being loving, all of that kind of stuff. We haven't learned the lessons. We fight power with power, violence and power. We've left femininity back 4,000 years before Christ. The patriarchal system started, according to historians. And I think that we also as women have learned, it's in our DNA to mimic and mirror masculinity. And we think we're feminine, but it's a really big job to get back into your feminine way of doing things and how you were before, thousands and thousands of years ago. I mean, only now that I'm starting to read history books and I'm really trying to understand these things, because I feel like modern history, it's still the same problem. Delete history, delete. Where you start going into these mythical mythology and all of that kind of stuff as well. It becomes very interesting. Anyway, that's just me, my weird self.
Yeah, I would love to live in my femininity, but the patriarchal society rewards the masculine capabilities as success. Right? So I can try be feminine all I want, but to get through certain hurdles, it unintentionally the system. The system. I was going to say, one of the things I love about that analogy also around the rear view mirror and the windscreen is that the car can move, right? Because I feel like when things happen, I'm very critical of myself. But as the car moves, those things are further and further in the distance. So allow yourself to fail fast and move on. Let that go. Because I think we can hold ourselves prisoner to the mistakes we make. And I have a little bit of a perfectionist streak, and being able to let go and be like, okay, that happened, sucked, but moving on to bigger and better things, and allowing that mistake to be small and smaller parts of my own identity.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I think it's so important, whatever you're going through, is to filter it so it doesn't go and sit in your subconscious mind. Filter it, move on. And I sometimes would think the smallest thing has been such a big issue, and I can literally feel my shoulders go like this. And how I shrink. And that, it's so important to pull your shoulders up and look forward and say, okay, I'm doing this. Whether you're with me or not, I'm doing this. And, you know the calling. I always say the gut to gut cut that we have the moment we are born from our moms is when we cut. That's the moment when you take your first breath and you cry. Is your moment of independence, of where you have to find your own map and find your way in life. So anyway, next question is, what part of your identity is tied to that past relationship, and who would you be without it?
A short answer. When I first entered my career path, I came across he never knew that he was my mentor, but it was a fellow that said to me, he was a powerful businessman, and he said to me, "You need to be in public relations. I can see that's the route that you need to follow." And I thought, what is public relations? What do I need to do? Where do I need to study? Who do I need to talk to? And he said, "One moment, please."
Wow.
And he made a phone call and he said, "You're going to go meet this person right now, and she's going to talk to you about your next career move." And that's when I went into the industry that I'm in, and I've been in for 40 years.
Sure.
But he sadly passed away of cancer, but he did not realize at the time that he was my mentor. I would phone him and give him a progress report of how I was doing, what he thought I should be doing, where should I be going, what is my next move. And when I went into my business, he was the happiest person for me that I had actually moved into my own business after just being with a company for 3 years. So, but that was my career path. He was the person that influenced me, and I often think, thank you, David.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
That's what investment looks like also, you know, and potential and what that growth could be for somebody else. That, oh, how beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story.
You know, I think when you enter the corporate space, which is where I've spent the last 19 years of my life, I have, you know, had to find my way in terms of mentorship, sponsorship, and find people that were there to support me. And I think, you know, there's a few that stand out and that have given me the bravery and the courage to be this advocate or the social justice activist that I am today. And, you know, I think that is something that I hold very close to me in terms of standing up for others that may not have a voice and standing up for certain people who may be going through things that they have no control over. And having experienced something very similar in my own life, I think it's also given me a lot of empathy to really reflect and say, how can I be that support for the next generation? How can I leave a legacy to now, in the corporate space, be supporting and mentoring young women, for example, which is something I do, and just helping them to navigate what can sometimes be a very challenging experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like your work, like you are very much an activist, and even your family and where you've been, you know, how you've been raised and so forth. And I think it's so important to have somebody to look up, because it's a very uncomfortable
It's very lonely.
space. It's very
It's
lonely.
very lonely, yeah.
Because you sometimes feel, I don't know if I'm like maybe oversensitive, but I sometimes feel like, oh, Carmen, this is way too much. Or people don't like you. Just keep your mouth shut. Some days, like, just keep it quiet. But you know, you need people that you can say, hey, am I just being too much, or do I need hold me accountable, tell me what I shouldn't do, and you know, because you want to bring people on the journey, and you're so good at that, bringing people on this journey. You know, you take on issues head on, like where nobody wants to talk about it, you talk about it, and you have things to say, and I applaud you for that. You were one of the first people that were calling out what was happening in Palestine and Israel. You were one of the first people to say, hang on.
And getting abused online for saying that, like the harassment that I got just online for posting about that campaign was just unbelievable.
Yeah. That's when Cyril went to go and sign. Yeah. Anyway, we've got that resurfacing in the news.
Right.
Yeah, my story, he probably doesn't even know this from me, so hope he enjoys this.
Send it to him.
So when I registered to do my PhD, I specifically chose UJ because there was a women in leadership program that was being run out of UJ, and Stella Nkomo, who's amazing, who part of my research is based on, and Anita Bosch was running the program. And so I signed up at UJ because, like, I followed Stella. I wanted Anita to be my supervisor. I was like, this is it. My PhD is going to be supervised by this incredible woman. I got allocated a supervisor. It wasn't her. It was somebody else altogether.
Oh, no.
A male, Prof. Wilfred Uper. And when I got him, I was like, how did I go all this way to this program to get into a women's leadership program? And I ended up with a male supervisor. I was like, this is a complete scam. Let me tell you, I am indebted to that man. Like, he would not let me stop. Like, when I got to the point and I was like, it's been great. I'll tell the story about how I tried to do a PhD. He was like, nope. He was like, there's not enough women doing this. There's not enough Black women doing this. Wow. We are in this journey together. You will not stop until you finish your PhD. And I finished with that man pushing me the whole way. Oh, wow. He still contacts me every year to like ask, want to publish something, want to write something? And
how amazing is that?
That is amazing.
And with that lens, I walked into it with a completely different perspective. And it reminds me again, even similar to what came out of my PhD research and similar to what you're saying, that often there are these men who are sponsors, mentors, all of these things who are in the background, who are pioneers and who are important for the success of women.
Yeah. And you, I mean, I recall we had a discussion once where you also, like he was saying to you, use what you've learned, go out and use that skill.
Oh yeah, he's always pushing me. Every chance he gets, he's like, what's happening? What are we doing? And yeah, I wouldn't have thought that when I started the journey.
But look at what you're doing now. Yeah. I mean, I know we said no titles, but I mean, Sane is now heading up PsyOpsa as an industrial psychologist. And although she's in HR, she is like thriving also and taking the ownership back of her PhD. Like it was, I mean, like you need those mentors in your life.
100%.
Often I think that, you know, while this is all about women supporting women, women achieving women, growing women, I think that sometimes, I don't say sometimes, maybe that's not what I want to say, but I believe that men actually are very strong supporters of seeing women growing in position and growing in title and growing in structure and just growth generally. Maybe not as happy to see women sitting on the same board as they are, because you don't want to go after work and drink whiskey with them, and you don't want to go and play golf with them and what have you, because you've got your own things that you need to achieve, and usually it's family and it's that kind of responsibility and building your nest at home. But I do believe that men play a very, very important role in growing and developing women. I really do believe so. And often women stab you because they don't want to see you achieving. It's that negative bit on that.
Kovini laughed. No one saw it. I saw it.
Well, I hope you get that on the shot.
I've got a few wounds in the back.
Oh, yeah.
19 years is a long time.
Yeah. Telling you for sure. But you know, it's very true. If I look at my podcast journey, Sam Marshall was the first one. We met at a Heavy Chef event and he said to me, you should be podcasting. Next day, he said, come to my studios. I've got a podcast studio. I didn't even know what podcasting was. I was like, what is this silly thing now? What is this now? I was so nervous. I didn't know. And it was live. It was like a live radio thing. And then Solid Gold Podcast Studio, Gavin, took me under his wing and said, you've got potential. Come and do your podcast here. And you know what? It's those kind of things I feel. But I've also had an incredible woman, Jenna Clifford's played a very big role in my life. I worked for her for a year.
Wow. And
under her leadership, you know, she was the one that always told us, wear red pout, red lips. It's more than just red lips. People pay attention to what you're saying, but it's also about revolution. It's about quiet, soft rebellion. It's, you know, it's activism. She's all about women empowerment. She taught me everything about women empowerment. But she was tough. She was tough. Don't get me wrong. She was very tough. And sometimes you had to think about what she said and, you know, really percolate. But the opportunities that she's given me and the mentorship, even though I didn't want to listen at the time, years later, I went back to her and I said, actually, these things that you said to me that I couldn't understand or grasp, I took it very personally, but I get what you tried to say. And she said, okay, come and meet my friends. And she said to me, come to my house, and now I want you to come and meet my friends. You've grown up now as a woman. And you know, we sometimes need that. And also to take our own accountability, because I didn't want to hear what she was saying to me. Like, it was just like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not that kind of girl. But you know, sometimes you hear wisdom, but you haven't arrived there yet. And she bought us all these books. We were a few of us. She bought us a book with all of the affirmations that she believed in, that we should, you know, rehearse and have in our minds. And only after her passing, I was like, I'm going to take this book and I'm actually going to start making it part of me. But yeah.
She was an incredible businesswoman. I mean, she did nothing kept her back.
Nothing. Fearless.
Nothing kept. She was an absolutely fearless warrior.
Yeah, absolutely.
But warm and gentle in every part of her at the same time. Kind and generous.
100%. Right, so we are going to watch our last video before we're going to have glow up. Oh, you want to be around for glow up. Anyway, all right.
If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn this world upside down, these women together ought to be able to turn it right again.
With all of this that we're talking about, positive relationships, negative relationships, and the unknown, and stepping into those unknown relationships with courage, being open to mentorship, how do we address this thing of us as women coming together in unity, even though you're not always on the best foot with somebody else, or, you know, there are these people that don't want to necessarily, you know, engage you? The reason I'm asking that, I had a profound conversation a week ago with somebody that said to me, don't you think it's sometimes we as conscious leaders need to be working with our enemies? And I'm like, no, because they keep us away from the work that we're supposed to do. Because rather come together and be a force. And she's like, I don't think that's the right answer. And so that made me think a lot about this. How do we as women come together despite, if that is even possible? I don't know. I don't have the answer. I was hoping you have the answer.
I don't know if this is the answer, but I think women supporting women, it's not just nice. To me, it is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many different ways that we can do that.
Yeah.
Whether it's showing up for your family, whether it's showing up for your friends, whether it's showing up in your business environment. But I think that I don't know that women positively support one another like they should do.
I know.
And it's almost like we've got all these different campaigns about addressing all different issues that we face in society. And I do think that this is one of those societal issues that we should be addressing. You know, how do we show up for women?
Yeah.
And it's not just having a women's tea party or a pyjama party. It's how do we show up for one another and celebrate achievements, celebrate successes, celebrate sadness, celebrate every element. But women being there for women is very powerful.
Very powerful. And that's what I believe that the system is afraid of. Because when women come together, in front of every revolution is a woman. Yeah. And when women come together in solidarity, something shifts, something changes, and the violence disappear.
I think there's also something about women coming together in authenticity versus in competition. Because I think there's often a sense that like there's scarcity of space or there's a scarcity mindset. And so if there's 4 of us here, I need to be the one on top because there's not enough space for all of us. Whereas I found that in women's spaces where we've all come in with authenticity and with the spirit of creating abundance, I mean, that's created more opportunities. And so there's something about this jostling for space, for relevance, that we need to break down and know that there's enough space for all of us.
Yeah.
It's so true. The intent.
Yeah.
Know the intent of why. Yeah.
I think also just knowing your own self-worth. You know, spending time knowing who you are, what you're good at, where your strengths lie. A lot of us don't do that. So when we're in a room with other women, we feel like we've got to be number one. You know, we could all be number one, but in very different things. We all could be aiming for very different job titles, career paths. So for me, I agree with the authenticity part, and that links very closely to actually knowing who you are and playing to your strengths, which is something that I firmly believe in. Is to, you know, I do a lot of these tests, the Gallup Strength Finder.
Oh, yes.
And I find that fascinating because I think when you understand yourself a lot better, you're able to put yourself out there in line with what your own goals are. And that competition disappears because you're not competing for the same thing. If you had to go around the room asking, you know, women in a room what each one wants, you'd realize it's so different. Why are we competing against each other if what we want is so different?
I think also that piece around the self-worth is so important because if you understand your value, your worth, it means you'll be open to creating more space for others and you won't be self-protective. Like one of my superpowers is that I'm very empowering. But I will tell you, I work with the strongest teams because I intentionally will build the strongest team. Because if I've got a strong team, it means there's less from me and we can do more amazing things. And I think
feed off
that's
one another.
100%.
Oh, I love that.
100%.
Yeah.
But I also heard this amazing saying by Katie Mohammed. We were talking about women empowerment because I have a problem with the word empowerment because I feel I'm already empowered. I already have everything within me that I need to do what I need to do. And she said, it's not women empowerment, it's women advancement. We should start thinking about how do we advance one another? And I was like, sure, that's the word I've been waiting for. That's the word. So yeah, it's such an important conversation because I think, and I hate to always refer to the patriarchy because it makes people uncomfortable, but I think it's very important is that it has pitted women against each other where women always want to compete. There's not enough people on top. So to make the scales balance, what happens is that we continuously, it's a lot of sacrifice. I also interviewed Jingjin from Singapore, and she said, there's a lot of sacrifice that when you get to the top, that a lot of women were not prepared to make. And then they expect you to throw all these ladders down. But they didn't make that sacrifice. And I heard her points as well. But if you don't want to be the bully version, then you need to study those. What do they call them? What is the word? The bee... Queen, not Queen Bee. Is it Queen Bee
Queen
syndrome?
Bee is the,
Queen
is
Bee
the
syndrome.
one on top, but then who doesn't create space for others.
The Queen Bee syndrome is study her and see what parts of her you want and which parts you want to improve on, so that when you get there, that you can make the spaces more inclusive and you can bring that. I just think we should just make more tables and make our own tables.
Yeah.
Like I found new ways to take conscious leaders to businesses in different ways, different shapes and forms. If you don't want to hear women speak, then I'll bring women in a different shape or form. If you don't have enough women represented on your board, that's fine. We've got women. We've got many.
I think also, and I think about this a lot, there's such a perception about how women must show up that even when you make it to the top, you must be the one uplifting other people, you must be doing all of this and the men are not, right? And I think that behaviorally, inherently, people show up in different ways. So I also reflect on, do we intentionally expect a lot more from women than we do of men when they get to those positions? So they're already set to trip up because they have to get there and lift every woman up who ever existed. And also their voice and their role could be a lot more around changing the systems. And do we give enough credit to that as well? Because I feel like those women also, when they get there, carry a load of changing the nation.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Welcome to the Glow Up. Sorry, we're having such a big fun midlife party over here. Welcome to the Glow Up, where we don't just dim down for the night, we power up for tomorrow. Because it's not a beauty sleep, it's alignment sleep. Like, use your sleep to prepare you for tomorrow. And this is where the day gets washed off, the truth gets kept, and the woman you're becoming gets invited in. Your rituals are your rebellion. This is how we glow from the inside out. So I want to ask you quick questions around what is the rituals that you have for self-care. So let's go through some of the questions that I have for you. When the world finally goes quiet, what is the first thing you do to return to yourself?
Go to sleep. But I think, you know what, since this is all about, the slumber and the sleep and the, I think that it's important that I think we all need sleep to restore our brains and to just rest our bodies. But a lot of the time that sleep is, that 2 o'clock wake up for me, my mind is alert. I've maybe thought about something that has been challenging me the day before. I come up with the solution, that idea at 2 o'clock in the morning. So my comment is that actually we should never be sleeping. We're already always creating. We're always looking for that opportunity, because if I didn't use that sleep, I wouldn't wake up at 2 o'clock with that solution or that idea.
Yeah.
So that I am ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So my cutoff is, let me go to sleep, think about it. And when I wake up, I'll have the solution.
It's so true. I also believe in that.
I love journaling. I love when the world gets quiet and I have those quiet moments, which are sometimes quite rare. I just like letting my thoughts out. And for me, journaling is something that's very powerful.
Yeah.
I literally feel like it leaves my brain and it's almost like I know about it, but it doesn't impact me directly. So I have a dump list. I call it a dump list. And it's about all the things that I can't control that worry me.
Beautiful.
And I just put it on there.
And do you do that before you go to sleep in your
Yeah.
bed?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like that dump list. I need to
Yeah.
implement that.
And also for your fears. If you've got fears,
That's
to
it,
actually dump it,
That's it.
Ooh.
it's actually, it's like facing that fear.
Ooh.
I think it's a fabulous idea.
It becomes less scary.
Sure. And that's also maybe how we can get over this imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon.
Oh, is it renamed now?
That's actually the original phenomenon, because imposter syndrome makes it sound like there's something wrong with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was corrected.
My sleep routine will tell you what kind of a day I've had. If I've had a rubbish day, I'll crawl into my bed in my clothes and I'll pass out, and then I'll wake up later and fix it. That's complete exhaustion.
Sure.
If I've had an okay day, 50 to 60%, I will get into PJs and whatever, but then I will get into bed and doom scroll. And then if I'm having a real self-care day where I'm actually valuing myself and loving myself, I'll take a nice shower and then I'll get into nice PJs and then I'll go to bed. So it all depends on...
A shower, not a bath.
Oh, I'm not a bath person,
Oh,
please.
really?
Oh,
Me too.
please,
Oh,
please.
really?
If I get into a hotel and there's only a bath, I'm like, what is this?
I'm with you. I like that nice warm shower. I
Yes.
clean off the day.
Oh,
And I get into my clean bed in my nice jammies.
it feels so good.
And it's-
even putting on lotion feels good. Like even just putting on it's elite.
Now, when you shower, because your hair always looks perfect, what do you wear? A shower cap?
No, but you don't have to stand underneath the shower.
Isn't that the point?
You shower like my daughter. I understand why every time she showers, she has to wash her hair. You can shower and come out with dry hair. Come on.
And I'm like, my husband will not see me in a shower cap. Like, I won't. No. Because he's Irish. You know how many jokes he's going to make? Seriously.
Shower cap, sleep bonnet, it all goes in
No,
the
but
shower.
sleep bonnet is different. I've seen some very glamorous ones. With the nice, like, satin, like, they make it glamorous
I
ones
don't
now.
have those ones. I have
I
the
should
normal
actually
ones.
get one for my hair, because my hair breaks quite a lot because of the blonde. Anyway, upgrade. Okay, serious question. What are you praying for?
Well, you know what? I think gratitude is, for me, important. Thanks for the day. Thanks for the what I've achieved, the opportunities, my family. So gratitude, and I also pray for the new opportunities. So thank you for the day, and look forward to tomorrow.
I love that you combine it. That it's not just ask. It's like in your practice to be grateful and then to ask.
I think every part of our life is a different season. 2025, they have said, is the year of closure. It's the year things are going to end. It's the year that anything that does not serve you will be left behind in 2025. I feel assured by that. I feel grateful for the opportunity to be where I am now. I believe it's exactly where I'm meant to be. But at the same time, I believe that there are greater, bigger, more positive opportunities out there for me in 2026. And I look forward to just aligning myself with those future opportunities.
Amazing.
Yeah, going back to how feeling old. I think I find myself a lot more grateful for the little things or the more personal things now than I did earlier in my life. Like I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for the time with people who are close to me. I'm grateful for the things that I've achieved thus far. Like, I don't know. It feels like younger Sane would have been like bigger, badder. Whereas now it just feels like I'm grateful for the stuff that's close by, that's authentic, that's real, that makes my life feel rich. Because I think in the end of heavy days, it's that reflection on like, do I feel richer or not personally for the day I've had?
I love that. Well, behind your chairs is a little gift.
Are we getting cars?
No.
You've been watching too much Oprah.
But which generation can you see?
So if you want to grab behind your seat,
Mine is a bit of a stretch. Mine is a real stretch.
God.
We should have practiced this.
Carmen, look how far could you put that? Ek is jammer. Friends of conscious leaders who have been supporting me through my midlife journey arrange special gifts for all of you. If you want your skincare to work as hard as you do, go and visit thesunandbeautyroom.co.za and use the code CL10 for a 10% off on amazing products, South African products, our professional products that we enjoy for our skin, especially as we get older. You have no idea how special it is that you are actually getting a 10% discount, because you never find these products on discounts, and it comes with delivery. You don't have to go and look for it. It's all easy and simplified. So just use this code to qualify for the 10% discount. Now, Bron from the Sun and Beauty Room spoke to her friends and one of the products that she sells, and I said, oh, please can you arrange something for us? And I said testers. And then I looked and I was like, this is incredible.
This is amazing.
And the theme of the party, this is what they have given us. Oh, yes, they have given us Night Restore Vitamin C Serum for our skins. They have also, this is one of my favorites. The first time I used this was when I used to work at Ngidi. I got introduced to this, which is the special cleansing gel, Dermalogica. Then they have also given us, this deep cleansing oil. I mean, like, really. And then for you all, this Mystifier. I love it to pulp up my, especially like I'm going for another interview, and when I do that, I'm just going to pulp up my skin and mystify it a bit. And then how is this for a vibe? This Sound Sleep Cocoon, which is like, it just looks, it's a night gel cream, but specifically for sleeping.
Sorry, I can't wait. I had to open it.
How incredible. Wow. How spoiled are we?
Very nice and very appropriate.
Very appropriate, isn't it?
Thank you, Dermalogica.
Thank you. So let's do a thank you for them.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's wrap up our special evening. We're going to go very, very quickly. So all you have to say, access granted or access denied. Okay? That's the only answers. Don't give you another answer. Okay. Someone who disappears when you struggle, but reappears when you shine.
Access denied.
Yeah, denied.
Okay. A friend who corrects you publicly and praises you privately. Someone who disappears when you struggle, but reappears when you shine.
Denied.
Access denied.
Denied. Okay. A friend who corrects you publicly and praises you privately.
Denied.
Someone who respects you when you say no without punishment.
Access granted.
Okay, a person who claps only when they're winning too.
Denied. Denied.
Someone who listens to understand, not to reply.
Granted.
A friend who always needs you but is never emotionally available to you.
Denied.
Someone who asks you how your heart is, not what you've achieved.
Granted.
Lastly, a person who weaponizes your vulnerability.
Oh, definitely denied.
Anyway, that's a wrap. Thank you for being part of the midlife party, enjoying our age and enjoying growing into this new version of ourselves and better versions of ourselves. And thank you for joining my pajama party. It was lovely.
That was beautiful.
Thanks for the invite.